Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Thanks for coming back. I have my co-host, JC, here. Hey, JC.
Hi.
And, of course, our very special guest, Ari. Hey, Ari.
Hey, hey.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit more. Actually, I want to have you talk to our guest about your 5 keys to greatness and how it could help people, get out of their comfort zone to feel a little bit more that they're part of a team. And in this, connecting it to employee engagement or even just, human engagement as a whole.
Definitely. Okay, so the 5 keys to greatness are fairly simple. I call them a framework, not a system, because I like people. What I hope is that people will use them in the way that means the most to them, not the way that I think you should use them. It's, I say like I'm giving them to you, so you do what you will with them. They're no longer mine once I've given them to you. That's why I call it a framework, not a system. I've had too many things where I'm like, wait, it's Tuesday and it's 2 p.m. What in the world was I supposed to be doing again? Yeah. They're too difficult. They're very, very complex to sit there and figure out. And the goal of this is to be simple in its remembering and complex in its putting it into place. Anyways, the 5 keys are give. The first one is give, to be more giving. And this is talking about everything, right? This is talking about our time, our compassion, our listening ears, gifts, money. I mean, there's so many different categories within giving that would be applicable, right? Like we were saying before, on the last episode, talking about introducing ourselves to people, right? That's a form of giving. Or, finding somebody and introducing them to the people around the room. It's a form of giving because you're helping to give them less stage fright, less nervousness, less anxiety or whatever in that particular situation. The second key is reason, to be more, to have a defined purpose for the major areas of your life. Typically, I talk about work life, home life, because those are, for most people, the major areas of their life. There are some people that would have a third major area. So again, I would recommend to define a purpose for that as well. But again, as long as you have a stated reason, you know what you are headed toward. If we don't have a destination, we can never get there, right? Try pulling up your Siri or your Google Maps the next time you get in the car and say, take me to...
Take me to a fun place.
I mean, even a fun place is somewhat defined. I mean, saying, the AI, we're not quite up to there yet, but I'm saying an AI GPS could sit there and say, well, this place looks fun and just take you there, right? But if you don't give it anything, then it has nowhere to go. The third key is engage, to be more present in the moment. And this is, peripherally relevant to what we're talking about, but definitely relevant to everybody's lives all the time. Yes, as an employee, it's great to be engaged in work. It's also very important as a person to be engaged in our home life. As an employer, it's great to be engaged with your employees, right? If you are out to lunch and your employees are doing their own thing, or if you're an HR person and you're not really focusing on what's going on with the employees, or you are distracted, it's going to be really difficult to get the people in, to be fully engaged and fully with the core goals of the organization. So that's really important, is to be fully and totally present in the moment with whatever it is that you're doing. If you're at work, be present at work. If you're at home, be present at home. If you're with the kids, be present with the kids, right? You have to be where you are when you're there, so that later on you're not like, why wasn't I there? The fourth key is amazing, to have more of a positive mindset. And this is applicable to everything, everywhere, all the time, right? So many people will just not, first of all, they're toxic people, which it's very clear to see. Let's not be one of those, right? The person who every single thing that happens, oh my gosh, the world is ending, I can't believe it, angry, upset, snappy, right? Nobody wants to be around these people. So it's very clear to do as much as you can to not be that person. And if you find that you're being like that, then maybe it's time to kind of sit back, take a step back, and figure out what it is that is affecting your life in that way, and to figure out, how you can kind of change your overall attitude.
Yeah, put yourself in timeout.
Yeah, I mean, put yourself in timeout. Go out to the outdoors, take a minute, meditate, listen to some uplifting stuff. I mean, anything that you can do to kind of get like that, to kind of shift from that, everything's bad and everybody's out to get me mindset to being into more of the world is a beautiful place. Might be people who are not great, but the world overall is a beautiful place. A big part of this mindset thing is that we get back what we put out, right? The world that kind of acts like a mirror to ourselves. One example that I have of that is that I know cyclists who believe that motorists are out to get them, basically, right? The motorists are gonna run them over, they're gonna be whatever, and they're constantly getting in altercations, not like physical violence, but like altercations with people. Like one of them was biking along the road and a truck beeped at them and they thought the truck was running them over, and another one, like the cars are honking at them and they're like fighting, get off the road, and like, it's my right to be here, I'm fighting. I'm a cyclist also, and I don't feel like the motorists are out to get me. I know that the vast majority of motorists out there are trying to give me space and everything, but maybe they're rushing and stuff. So if somebody beeps at me, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll just move over a little bit, right? It's still scary. If you are a motorist, you have no idea how loud your horn sounds outside of your car.
True. Very
like,
true.
as a cyclist, you're like, somebody beeps the horn, they're just trying to get your attention. You're like, oh my gosh, what was that? but anyways, it's this mindset. Like, I see these people that the motorists are out to get me, and the motorists really do seem like they're out to get them. But if you come at it from a point of, no, like we all have space, we all have room, it changes everything when it's really just the way that you're viewing what's going on. And that's just one small example. If you start looking into it, you can find dozens and dozens of examples that the world mirrors back what you think it should mirror back to you. And then the final key, go ahead, JC.
Yeah, no, I've got a question for you after your final one. Go ahead, please, sir. Oh,
fantastic. So the final one is tenacity, persistence. The fact is the world that we live in today would not be the same without people who were decidedly persistent till the very end, right? Not the people who sat there and tried 3 times and said, you know what, it's too hard, I'm giving up. The people who said, absolutely not, this is what needs to happen, and I will do everything and anything in order to make sure that it happens. And those are the people that change the world. And if you want to be part of the people who change the world and part of the people who create a new reality in the world that we live in, then persistence is key. And that might just mean creating a new reality in the company that you are operating as an HR person for. And that's okay, right? We don't all need to be Dr. Martin Luther King. Right. Certainly people like him change everything in the world, but we can all change our own small corner of the world and unlock our own version of everyday greatness. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah,
I love it.
Where do you begin to live a truly great life? What do you concentrate on in order to realize your full potential? To me, I wish there was like a parable about unlocking your destiny, like a little book of greatness I could buy or something. Do these things exist, Ari?
Yeah, I wrote a book. It won a couple awards. It's called The Little Book of Greatness. It is a parable. Thank you, JC, for. It is a parable. It tells a short story. You can read it in a few hours. If you have a short plane ride coming up and everything, you can grab a copy and read it on the plane. It's available as an ebook or as a paperback or as a hardback.
But it very specifically gets into the 5 tenets that you just talked about, basically.
Yes. It tells a story of a guy who is struggling in life, and he is introduced to the concept of the 5 keys to greatness by a mysterious man on a mountain, who then sends him off to this lady, Regina. Regina kind of acts as his guide, sending him off to 5 different key holders, I call them in the book, who explain each one of the individual keys to him. Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. So for anybody is looking to find more information on Ari's book, The Little Book of Greatness, you can go to the website mindsparkmotivation.com, and there's an entire page dedicated to that book there. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on episode 3 of 5. We will be back shortly to continue our conversation on the lack of employee engagement, not just in the United States, but across the world. See you in a minute.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.